guess you can understand what is the root. The root actually is like I got your access or something like that. So let me start the process without like wasting much time. I'm starting with your like that application itself, the free float FTP, which you people told me. And let me see. If you want to take a screenshot, you can go ahead. So what I'm doing over here is I'm just finding out the IPs in my network, how many IPs I'm having in my network, and my bad. So that I can start with some vulnerability assessment and the further part. So I got some IP, and this is my like you can say internal network. So please don't try to do something on this IP because it will not work. Okay. So I have this IP, and I'm just doing nmap into this IP so that I can find out the services or the protocols which I said earlier, where the attacks actually work. So you can see there are some particular services which are working right now and where the attack is actually working. So over here you can see that I'm having some 4 ports which are open, and these ports are having some services related. You can clearly see that there are some services written over here and the port numbers are overwritten. Now what I'm doing is I have to find out one by one each port, and I have to find their parameter. So I'll be starting from the first wave. What was the first wave? Guys, on the comment. What was the first wave? The first wave was spiking again. So what I have to do is I have to find out the parameters of these particular services. So for doing that, we can use 2 tools basically. The first tool we can use is Netcat. Netcat you can use by doing NC, something like that. The second tool you can use over here is something known as Telnet. You can use these 2 tools again. So it's totally dependent on you, according to your choice. I can use both of them. I can show you both of them, how to do that again. So what I'm doing is, like the first tool I'm using over here is Telnet. How to use Telnet? You just write Telnet and click on enter. Then what you do is you just write open and the IP address. So the IP was 159, yeah, exactly. 192.168.195.159, and I have to write the port number one by one. So you remember the free float of the FTP port number is 21, basically. So I just put 21 over here. I just hit enter. If you can see that I'm right now connected to a particular IP with the port number, and it's telling me that free float FTP server is connected over here. So I'm connected now. So what I do is I just write help or something like that to check some parameters. So this is telling me no help available or something like that. So I said okay. So there are some, if there is FTP server, something like that, there should be a particular like you can say parameters like username or password. So I just try with, for example, user Bob. Bob is a anonymous name again. So it's just a password required for Bob. Okay. So I just write pass Bob. And okay, so user Bob logged in. This is just a try. Like I don't know how it worked out, but the Bob is just like absurd username I use. I guess they are like accessing the username and they are allowing the username of any category. So this user which I wrote right now and this pass which I wrote right now, these 2 things are basically the parameters of that service FTP. The first way you can do this is like this. I just make it quit or exit. No, quit. It's not working. No issues. So just go with the next command. The next with Netcat, how to do that? We can NC-MVB. We can write the IP, for example, and we can go ahead with 159. Yeah, and we can go ahead with the port number. Okay. So we again have free float FTP, and we can again write something like help, and no help you like use over here. We can write user or something like aha and pass lamau. So haha is logged in over here. I don't know how it's logged in, but it's logged over here. So I'm going with the next part. So this was more of a spiking thing. In spiking, you go with more tool. So there is a tool basically. You go ahead for spiking part. So I have created a particular folder with a summit name. Yeah. So spiking is basically done by a kind of a script. Basically, you people can use this script, but over here in this scenario, spiking is not necessary because we already know that FTP service is vulnerable. Spiking is done where we don't know that which service or which parameter is vulnerable. So when we talk about that part, how a spiking script looks like, this is a spiking script which it looks like. I mean, it's something like you have to put a parameter name over here, like FTP user or FTP password, or you have to do that. And after this, what you have to do is you have to use a tool on the generic send TCP, and with that you have to put like your own IP, not your own IP, the victim's IP basically. So we call them the R host. R host is actually known as remote host, or you can say the victim's target IP. So we just write the target IP, then we just write out the target port number, and we just write the param like param spiking वाला जो हमारे script था. We just write the spike part, and we just give some parameters again. So this is how we do that, but it's not necessary right now. If you want to understand how this thing works, you can go to a guy who does buffer overflow. This guy is known as Heath Adams. His channel is in Cyber Mentor, the Cyber Mentor kind of a thing. So he's having a tutorial on this thing. You can go ahead and learn how to do spiking part. And he's the only guy who's showing how to do spiking, I guess. So you can learn from this channel and do the spiking part later on. What I'm doing is next, I want to like go ahead with the exploration. So I'm with I find out that free float FTP is running over here. So what I'm just going ahead on the finding out the exploit and doing the exploit further. So I'm using a tool known as search exploit, and I just go with free float FTP. Okay. Very amazing. So I got these free FTP like exploitation we choose. It was 2324 T, something like that. So this much of which we can wait. The exploit which people chose over there is this, and we have the user parameter vulnerable IP. I guess you people can see right now or no? I guess you can see the screen. It's perfect. So this is the particular exploit which is vulnerable at that time. So I'm just going with the particular exploit and we'll do the fuzzing part again. So for doing fuzzing, the first thing we have to do is like I have to copy this particular exploit and make it a like you can say copy of this part. So I'm copying this particular exploit into my desktop, and in my desktop I get a particular script. The next part is I have to I just rename it first. So with exploit.py, I don't like this name. Okay, perfect. So I just read exploit.py and I just go with the script now. So over here, these hashtags over here are comments. So I'm just removing it. They're of no use again. The next part is this is a particular exploit which is written by some guy who have done buffer overflow earlier on this particular thing. This is not my exploit. So I'll be doing this exploit and I'll be like changing this exploit according to my use again. So what I'm doing is the things which are of my use. So the first thing I want to check is whether this exploit actually worked or not. Whether it's working or not, for example. So I have to check that whether they're asking the IP inside the code or not. No. So they're not asking the IP inside the code. So what I have to do is I have to check Python exploit.py and I have to just try them out that whether they're working or not. So, okay, perfect. So they are asking that please enter a particular IP address over here and click on exploit. So IP overwritten. So first enter the IP of that particular victim again. So what I do is I just write IP. Guys, can you hear me now? I guess it's not like I'm only speaking over here.
Everyone
guys, can you hear me? Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I just put the IP over here and 195.159 and I just try that whether it's working or not. In this Windows machine right now, I can see that my particular application is working. So where's my FTP over here? And I guess my application is working. Yeah, my application is working perfectly. Now what I do is I just try to do so that's for them. I just click and once I click here, application is working perfect. Now can you see that I'm clicking on start again and again and again? It's not starting up. Why it's not starting up? The reason behind this is the application got crashed in the background. So what actually the background looks like, or the background of hota hai actually. So if you want to see the background part again, I have to show you the kernel, how the kernel looks like. So what I have to do is I have to again like start the application, and I have to attach the application with this immunity debugger. This is a debugger which we people use more of a thing when you do some kind of exploitation with like buffer overflow attacks. So what I do is I just my bad. So I just execute this application. So I hope you people are not getting bored. So just like I promised you, I'll be boring you with my lame jokes. So I'm having some lame jokes so that I can make you people connected with me or something like that. So the first lame joke, which I'm putting on the like chat right now, and you people have to tell me like the correct answer for this thing. So I'm so sorry in the front right now for asking this question. So the question is, here it goes. Read very carefully. Which country has the most of the germ in this planet Earth? I'm waiting for your answers in the comment box. Please tell me. Which country has the most of the germs in the planet Earth? Let me know. So the next thing we have to do is, we have to again run it out. Perfect. And yeah, my application is running, and I just like run out the debugger. So immunity debugger is kind of a debugger which we people like use in for the kernel exploitation mode of a thing. So I just attach this kind of application, the FTP application, and after attaching, let us check what exactly is happening when we do a kind of exploitation on a particular application. What happens in kernel when we do exploitation with like buffer overflow. So what I'm doing is okay. So what I'm doing is again restart the exploit. Let me. Okay, so my machine has been crashed. Perfect. So I again restarted the IP 168.195.159. Perfect. I can click on exploit. Once we click on exploit, yeah, boom. So once we click on exploit, as you can see, my screen has gone blank. What do you mean by blank? What this blank means actually is, once your screen goes blank, actually your kernel got crashed. Your complete kernel of your operating system got crashed? No. But the kernel which is corresponding to this particular application, the free flow like FTP application, got crashed actually. So this is like what buffer overflow looks like. So the first step you have to do for doing buffer overflow is you have to get this thing. So this is something which is having the crash, which is known as fuzzing. If you can do this thing part, there's no one can stop you for doing buffer overflow. And if you can find out this thing in a particular application, for example, any application on this planet Earth, what you can do is, like for example, I'll give you a complete scope for this thing. Just recently, I guess like many of you play PUBG over here. So just recently, PUBG got a kind of a notification, and this notification was looking like this. So this was the notification which people can see in the application of PUBG. Now, what was happening over here? Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? I can guess you know like what happened over here. There is something known as buffer overflow attack which happened over here. So in PUBG again. So buffer overflow can happen like anywhere, man. So for doing buffer overflow attack, your first motive should be you should get this particular crash screen. If you can crash this screen, if you can break our application in such a manner, you can do buffer overflow very easily. So the first thing you have to do is you have to crash the screen. So I'm just speeding up the things right now because I don't want to make you bored. And the answer of the question, which country is having the most of the germs in this planet Earth? The answer of the question is Germany. So I'm so sorry for the answer. I'm just starting like going beyond that. So I have to again restart the particular application and again do the attack. So this was the first phase again, obviously. The next phase we have is we have to check in a kernel to at which level you can say the crash like corresponding to a particular application, at which level the crash is happening. So for doing that, we have to find something, and that something is something known as like you can say offset. Offset is a place where our buffers got crashed in a kernel or in a stack, you can say, and after it goes to the later memory addresses. So we have to find out that where it is actually going. I know the people who don't know much of technical buffer overflows, it will be much difficult for you. But please bear it with me. I'll be like able to. So I'm planning to like do a particular YouTube, like you can say blog or YouTube tutorial on buffer overflow. Let me know how many people are interested. Let me know in the comments. And if you, but most of the people say yes, I'll be doing a complete tutorial on how to do buffer overflow attack. Every kind of buffer overflow, whatever I have done on the YouTube part on Hindi, English, and Punjabi, and only these languages. So thank you so much. Please let me know. Just so the next thing we have over here is we have this particular kernel and it's working right now. So I have to understand which level the crash which happened over here. So getting that part, I have to again check out code where the exploit was happening. So that code is inside my Kali machine again. So I just go to my Kali machine. Perfect. We got feeds. No issues. So, and then now exploit.py. Perfect. So, as you can see, in this particular exploit code, these people are having that they are sending some junk. Junk, what is junk? Obviously, junk is something which is junk again. So what they are doing actually is they're doing the same thing. Like I was telling before that you have to enter your username as Sanjeev Multani. What I'm doing is I'm putting something like is among junk. Now this is not age they are filling. They are filling something like /x41 and they're filling to 230 number. So what is /x41? /x41 means when you talk about any kind of operation which shows /x41, /x41 means A. So /x41 and A is the same thing. Only the difference is the /x41 is in hexadecimal, and when you talk about these A's, they are in normal key format. So when normal like character set. So what I'm doing is I'm deleting this particular operations. These people have added up over here because they are of no use of me, because this payload is not created by me. Like this is created by the person who is driven out this exploit, the person who have done this exploit for the first time. And this is what I'm like telling you from the first minute, basically, that please write your own code, find your own exploits, so that you can have your exploits with this, and people can use your exploit like I'm using this guy's exploit. So please do that. So further, I know we were having some junk values over here. The junk value is 230. What I do is I make it something like more than 230, make it something like 500, for example. Random guess. I'm just guessing out that whether the application crashed at this moment also, or it doesn't crash at this moment. So what I do is I just save it out again. Again, restart the particular exploit. Python exploit.py, raster IP. IP is 192.168.195.159, and I just click on exploit. Once I click on exploit over here, we can see that whether the application got crashed or not. Just wait for a few seconds. And no, the application didn't crash. So why the application didn't crash? Any guesses? Because I guess the buffer size is more than 500 or something like that. Okay, connection failed. So why the connection has been failed? I guess the IP has been spilled. No, the IP is same. The connection has been failed. Okay. Let me go through the code again so that we can understand. What editing we have done is, okay, so I guess we have done some mistake. Yeah, we have done a big mistake, not some mistake. I got the mistake which I have done. So not this again, not this again. So I have to execute this code again. So if you can see over here, the biggest mistake I've done is this user, sock.send user, was sending junk plus multiple things. The first thing is I have to remove them. I know they're of no use, but they produce some errors again. And is there any mistake I have done? I don't think so. More of them. So let me try it again now. Okay. Python exploit.py. I just enter the IP again. exploit, and once I write the exploit part over here, perfect, voila. So you found the mistake now. The mistake was I've just put some like variables which is of no use. So always remember when you talk about Python, there can be two things which can daunt you. Basically, the first thing is you have to understand that you don't have to give more of a spaces because there is something that is known as indentation error which can haunt you up. And the second is don't use your brain too much. Lazy. So the next thing we have to do is we know that the ace is the this addiction actually. So you can see this at the EIP. I am having 41414141. Can you guess what is 41? Yeah, your capital A. So when you talk about 41, actually, this 41 is actually the ace which I've sent from that machine remotely, and this came to this machine at the kernel level basically. So when you talk about this kernel level, we have this 41414141. If I can send the 41 part, tell me that if I can send a kind of address of open your camera, will it work or not? Yeah, you guessed right, it will work. So when you talk about that part again, you understand that when you talk about this 4.1 part, you have to change this out according to you, and you have to put a particular applications, like you can say address or something like that. So the next part is, I've sent 500 A's. Now, what A is coming at EIP. Let you for this thing. So I'm talking about that I find out some kind of 500 A's, for example. These 500 A's looks like this. So these looks like this, something like this, and something like this, and they are 500 A's. Now, does anyone from the viewer can tell me that where does this A comes, which comes to the EIP part? Like यहाँ से EIP में आ रहा है, यहाँ से EIP में आ रहा है, यहाँ से EIP में आ रहा है, कहाँ से? Can anyone tell me that? I guess like no one can tell me that because these are A's and they're 500 A's, man. Like they're 500 A's. I've done a buffer overflow with the buffer size is 87 lakh. The 87 lakh A's. Do you think we can manually count that first A, second A, third A, fourth A, and we go still 500 A's, and then we find out that okay, at this level the A's is crashing. So we cannot do that again. So for doing that, what do we do is like we use a kind of a tool of Metasploit itself. This tool is known as pattern create. This pattern create is a tool kind of a thing which can create a number of pattern according to you, like whatever number of pattern according to you which you want to use. So I just use this pattern create tool, and this tool is okay. So this tool is inside a particular folder. This is user share Metasploit framework, then tools and exploit. So over here, if I do ls, you will see that there is a tool over here. It is pattern create. So pattern create is the which I was talking about. To use this tool, we just go with pattern underscore create, and I just put -h for help. So when you come over here, you can see that it's asked you for a length. Remember a length which we gave 500 A's. Just like that, I'll be giving a pattern. I'll not give A's of this part. I'll give only a pattern of 500. So what I do is I just -l was meter, and I just put 500 again. So when I put 500 and hit enter, you will see in like few seconds over here that you will have a kind of a pattern basically which is going in this A part. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. See, I'm a magician. So when you talk about this part again, I have those A's over here, and I just copy them out. Perfect. So when I copy them out, remember the exploit code we were having. So that exploit.py. Any guesses where I'll put these pattern in the code? Yeah, you're right. I'll put this pattern in the code in the place of these A's. So I just paste them out and I just save them out. So it's much obvious that the last time we were sending 500 A's and it was showing me at the queuing level. What was the queuing level? I guess you understand what is the queuing. Queuing is EIP. So at the EIP level, it was showing me that we got the A's 414141. Don't you think like if I send 500 this pattern, it will also go to the EIP. It will also go to the EIP again. So my EIP is having 41, 41, 41, 41 over again. If we talk about this part again, so in this like way we have, this pattern will also go to the 41 part. So what I'm doing is I'm just restarting it so that the application can get restarted and it can work out. Perfect. So the application is started over here. The next thing we have is we have to send that code and to check. We have to check that like whether the code is working or not. So I just again go with Python exploit.py. I hit enter. Asking for the IP address again. I just enter the IP 192.168.195.159. Perfect. And I click on exploit. Once I click on exploit over here, just check the machine. Let's check the machine. Let's check the machine. So we got the machine over here, and just a sec. Yeah. So we got a kind of address in my EIP level, QIN level again. If you can see that my address at the QIN level is 37684136. 37684136. This is the address which I'm getting. I want everyone who is viewing the video right now to write this address so that you can understand how to do the stuff. So so that you don't get bored again. Another kind of like PJ from my side. So like I want the questions, I want the answers in the comment section below. So the PJ goes like, what does Batman get inside his drink? If you can answer this thing, I'll give you a like a buffer overflow like tag or something like that. So the EAP level we are getting over here is 3768436. Okay, so we got this address over here. I write it down: 37684136. Perfect. So I guess Dushyant, are you here? Can you listen me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. You can hear me. So, for example, let's understand how kernel works. For example, Dushyant, you are like living in a room which is in front of me, and I'm living in a room which is beyond you. For example,
Okay.
we are having a bucket over here or a rack over here. I put a book. I put the first book over here. The first book is A. Then I put a second book B. Then the third book C. Then the fourth book D. Which book you will like pick up first?
D,
D, obviously. Then
C,
B and A.
Then B,
Exactly.
then A.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
helping me out.
Yeah.
So the thing which I'm telling you is this is stack.
Stack Overflow.
How kernel works, and this is something which happens in every aspect of kernel. The address you got is this 37684136, but actually, if I give this address to the kernel over here, this kernel will revert this address into their own operation. So what they will do is, and this thing over here which I'm teaching you, this thing is known as little endian format. This happens because of stack only, because whatever data gives you, you pick up on the reverse order, or something like that. So when you see this address, what is little endian format again? So what you have to do this, do is over here, you have to break this pattern into a like group of two, like this, 37684136. I'm doing all of the stuff over here. I guess people can see this. I am highlighting this thing. Yeah. Now, what you have to do is you have to reverse it. So the last parameter I got over here was 36. I just write 36. The next parameter I got was 41. I got 41. The next parameter I got over here was 68. I got 68. And the last I got over here was 37. So I again wrote 37. So this is the first turning point for you. Whenever you give the address to a kernel, reverse it out. The next point we have to do is we have to check that at what level we are having this thing. So how many of you are agreeing on counting the 500 A's? I guess no one. So for doing that, what we do is we use an automated tool again. So this automated tool is created by Metasploit only. And let me get back to my Kali machine. Perfect. Let me know if you have any question. So I came back to my Kali machine. My machine is lagging a bit. I'm so sorry for that.
Not a problem, sir.
Uh,
As
okay,
long as we are
so I'll
learning.
again go to that folder, user share Metasploit framework, then your tools, then your exploit, back to it again. So the last tool we use over here was pattern underscore create. The next tool we are using is pattern underscore offset, basically. So this pattern underscore offset over here, sorry, my bad, pattern underscore offset. So when I use this, I don't know how to use it. I put hyphen h again. So they're telling me you have to put a query and length. Query is the same thing which will go to EIP. So what does pattern underscore offset do with I count the by creating. So what we do is use this tool basically pattern underscore offset again, and I just put hyphen q. Now we got a kind of an address. I guess you remember that we got at P level, the queen level again. The address was, remember the address? Anyone? Okay, so does anyone remember the address? What was the address? Was the address? The address was 37684136. Now, you people must be like, sir, we are very intelligent and we know that you have to reverse this address, then you have to enter this address. So, I want to say just one thing. Don't be intelligent at this moment because this tool don't ask this address on a reverse order. It will automatically or automatedly reverse this address on its own. So don't be too smart over here. Just enter the address as it is. I told you this thing because so that you can get the understanding and because we have to change the address at the later moment. So I just put this address again, 37684136. So I just enter this address at this level. I think Q is 37. My machine is lagging. I'm so sorry for that. Just a sec. Let me reverse it up. Come on. Yeah. The address was yeah. So the address was 37684136. So sorry guys for this. My machine is lagging a lot. I don't know why it's happening right now. Perfect. So I just write it out again. 37684136. Perfect. The next part we have is we were having a length, the length part. You remember? So the length was 500, which we set. Once we hit enter over here, let it count it on its own basically, and it will tell us where does the actual offset exist. Okay, so we got an offset. What is offset? 230. Now let me tell you what is offset basically. Remember the queen EIP. If we follow the queen, we got every single thing. Just before the queen, we have a particular area to follow up. The size of the area, or you can say the length of the area is 230. That means if we enter 230 A's, we can the next 231st A will go to queen, or the next 231st character will go to a queen part. So let me check whether it's working or not. So for doing that, what I do is I again get back to my exploit code and I edit this out. So for to edit this out, I just do nano again, and after doing nano, the next part is I guess you people can see the junk part. So what I'm doing is I'm making this junk deleted, and I'm creating a new junk. Always remember indentation. Then the next part is I just put like for example /x41. What is x41? You will tell me. Yeah, you were right. Is and the next thing is I have to put how many is. The age was 230, 230. It was the offset. Now after the offset we got over here is we are having some kind of we want to see that whether it will go to EIP or not. So for doing that we know X41 is A. Then what will be B? Obviously X42. So what we do is we put BBBB over here, and we are just checking out whether it will work or not. So for checking it out, I just save it out Now, according to a program, if a program is right now, it's working perfectly right now. Our EIP should show 42424242, and if it's showing 42424242, then bang on, we are in the machine. So we can like hack the machine then. So what I'm doing is I'm again exploiting this kind of a code over here, and this code is 192.168.195.1.9, and I go to my Windows machine to check whether it's restarted or not. Okay, so come on. Okay, so I'll just restart the machine again. Uh, oh, I guess my machine is lagging a lot. Okay, so the machine is running right now. Perfect. So I want to check that whether I got B at my EIP level or not. So I just want to check it out. Just a sec. Dishant, how much time we are having right now?
You have all the time, sir. Carry on.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so my machine is lagging out too much.
That's
Can
not a
we
problem.
wait for a minute or two, or so that I can restart the machine out? Till that, I can like hear out some questions from the people
Yeah,
or
definitely,
on the
sir.
computer.
Guys, if you have any
Sure.
questions, please ask in the live chat. Although
So I'm just
we already
starting my
have some
machine.
questions.
Let me know the answer for the
Yeah, no,
for that part.
nobody got the answer, sir. If you could tell us.
So the answer was, please don't be mad on me. What does Batman drink? Like gets on his drink? The answer is just ice, justice. Perfect. So my machine is up again. I check my IP back again, and I'm good to go. Sorted. So what I do is again go back to my particular code, leonards.py, and my code is good to go. Perfect. So I have to check that whether I am having this BBBB at EIP or not. Anything which I want to check right now. So what I do is I again like attach the application into my debugger, and perfect. FTP server again, back again. So my machine is running up perfectly. Now I again start with Python exploit.py. I just enter the IP. IP was 192.168.195.159, and I just click on exploit. Click on exploit. Boom. So I got something over here. If you can see my screen very carefully, till over here at EBP level or something like that, we got the data. But at the EIP level, if you see the EIP carefully, EIP is having something that is 42424242. This 424242 means B. That means now we can control the EIP. This is the best thing we can do. Now the next part. For the wave 4. The wave 4 tells that we have to find out the address. What kind of address we need? So what I need is I am having some evil thing in my mind. So I want to hack your machine. I want to open your camera, or I want to open your microphone, or I want to see your contacts, or I want to check your WhatsApp messages, or I want to see your images or something like that. What I want to do? I want to do every single thing about them. I want to do all of them. So for doing that, I want to have a remote connection of your machine. So for that, I want to find the address. This address I am finding out by using a tool This tool is created by a company known as Coreland, Corelan. They have a website known as corelan.pe. This tool is known as Mona, MN. So we call it Mona G with respect, basically. And I use Mona now. With Mona, I just write out some kind of addresses, so some kind of operations. So I'm just finding out some modules first. That what kind of modules I can find out. I'll give this explanation of this thing because this will take like hour or two if I like started explaining this thing right now. So I'll explain this thing later on. So over here, I can find multiple kind of like DLLs over here, which is connected with this application. I'm going to find out a kind of DLL which is having most of the thing false like this. So is this a DLL or kind of EXE? Let me check again. I guess this is a EXE. What is this? Yeah, this is the EXE. So I have to find out where ASLR is true. Okay, most of the places we have ASLR true. So let me tell you what is ASLR. ASLR is a kind of protection which Microsoft uses for their own systems or something like that. And they use it so that no one can do Overflow. Let us try that we can do that or not over here. So it can be 50-50 chances again. If it doesn't come right now, so please bear me now. So I'm just trying out that whether we can have the buffer overflow part over here. So I'm just going through a particular DLL, which can be OS DLLs. There are multiple DLL. Let's take a DLL, which is, for example, this MSTTF. I take this, so I just take this DLL over here, and this DLL is having an MSTTF.dll. I want to find out the address from this DLL basically. So I just write a command over here, Mona find -s. Now I just put assembly operation over here, xx /x e4. This is for a particular pointer which I'm doing over here. This pointer is known as ESP. From this moment, I can understand this that 80 or 90% of the things will go out of mind like this. So please bear me out. The next thing we have to do is I have to put a particular DLL file. The DLL which uses msctf.dll. So I just write msctf.dll and I just hit enter. So once I hit enter over here, I found 20 pointers. This is great. This is the thing which I'm on. So this is the thing which I'm on for hacking this machine or to like, get this machine. So I just got this pointer, and this pointer is 74BF or something like that. So I got this address. I just copied this address into map. So when I copy this address, it's looking like so. This address is this, and for example, I want to send this address to the kernel from my end, and the kernel is at that end. So for example, I send to the kernel A, B, C, D. What will kernel choose first or something? I pick up first, obviously D. Then they will choose C. Then they will choose B. Then they will choose A. Just like that, what I'm doing is I'm splitting this thing and I'm making this into a reverse order. It is Indian format. So in little Indian format, what I'm doing is I'm just putting AF 8F14 BF74. This is the thing which I'm doing, and I'm making them into address format. So this is the address /x. Symbol looks like this honest /x /x and /x. I can put /x. There are things which I can do. Now I'm in fifth wave. Fifth wave over here is something known as the shell code. Shell code is something by which we, for doing that, what I'm doing is in this machine, basically the machine having to have sorry. In this machine, what I do is start the Metasploitable framework. So I guess I'm disconnected. I'm connecting back again. Just wait a second. Can you hear and see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, I guess I got some internet issue. I got disconnected. Just.
Meanwhile, sir, if you want to answer a question, Imanshu Soni is asking, what is script analysis and why should you include it in the risk management?
Okay, so crypt analysis is basically a domain which is meant for cryptography assessments. In cryptographies, we have multiple kind of encryption work on. Crypt analysis is the kind of domain where you have to find out that how cryptographies work, what are the key stuff for cryptography, and perfect. And how can you like particular uh,
Sir, your voice is echoing.
that yeah, sure. So the cryptography assessment is something like where you have to understand like how the cryptographic mode work on, and you have to understand that how you can decide the private keys stuff. For example, you have more kind of like services like SSH. SSH is having public key, private keys, multiple factors. So for that part, basically, when you talk about SSH, you have to decipher the SSH keys to connect with SSH illegally, not legally format. So for doing that, cryptanalysis is the biggest factor which can help you out. Now people play CTS. CTS is capture the flag. There are some kind of games which people play in cybersecurity domain. So when we talk about CTS kind of a thing, cryptanalysis and cryptographies are the major thing which we work on right now. So cryptanalysis is a good thing. You can do that. So I just come back to the topic, and what I was doing, yeah. So I was creating the shell code. So I'm going with the next framework over here. This framework is known as Metasploit framework. For that, the first thing is I have to initiate the Metasploit. So I am having the Metasploit framework right now in my machine. To check the version of that. The version is, I guess, I'm using the latest version right now. I guess that, and I'll be using different tools for that too. First thing is doing I'm just initiating the particular database for Metasploit, just doing my MSFDB in it. It's a kind of a tool which start a database for Metasploit basically, so that we can hack easily. So this database is installed inside our machine itself. So I'm using this version of MSF. It doesn't matter which version you're using. You just have to hack the person. So the next thing we have to use is we have to create a particular shell code. So the shell code which over here is by using a tool known as MSF. So you people can see this tool, like how to use this, and write the command like how to create a code to hack a particular machine. So what I'm doing is I'm just using MSF-nm-p Windows interpreter. Metapreter is the kind of a thing which means we got a particular, you can say, connection of a remote connection of a particular machine. So Metapreter, reverse TCP. So I'm taking a TCP connection, not a UDP connection. Why TCP? Because TCP is more stable. The next is lhost. Lhost means my IP. That means by which IP you want to connect. So this IP is 244. Perfect. So just go with lhost. Then lport. Lport equals to, my port number is 1337. 1337 is a port number which basically hackers use. It's known as a lead port. If you are having this port in your machine, please understand that you are in a big trouble. So please don't use this, don't see this port in your machine. If you see that, then disconnect every internet connection. Because no other platform or known platform uses port. Only hackers use this. The next is we have -f. So the writing out is in Python, so I just write in Python. Now I'm creating variable. So this variable I'm creating over here is something like numout, for example. So this is a variable name which I'm creating. The next part is I have to again define a port number to this. So the port number is again 1337. It's a variable initializing again. So the next is I have to define a particular NOPs for this thing. NOPs is something which meant no operations. This is something which will deserialize the kernel, so that the kernel, if the kernel you can say break out into two or something like that into a system, this will not meet that breakout. It will continue the program into execution loop or something like that. The next phase we have to put a you can say architecture. So the architecture is x86, and I'm putting a platform over here. Platform is Windows. Okay, so I'm done over here. The next thing I have to do over is I have to use an encoder. So there is an encoder. I know most of the people, 90% of the people will be like, sir, what are you writing over here? This is alien technology. This is not alien technology. So this is just you can say a small thing which you can learn in hour or two or something like 1 hour or 2 hours, something like that. So this is not alien technology again. Like I'll give you a brief intro about these things later on. So the next phase, I have to use an encoder. So I don't know like what type of encoders I'm having. So for I'm just going with MSF banner hyphen list encoders command so that I can find out every encoder using in my machine, and I'll be having multiple encoders again. We use an encoder which is very well known. This encoder is known as Shikata R9. This is the encoder which we can use basically, and this is in excellent state. So you can use this encoder because this is more of a like excellent encoder. So I just put this encoder over here and hyphen B. Remember, bad character was word. There was a word like bad character. There is a word like bad character, which means if this character come to your machine or something like that, your machine will not work properly. So this is something like null volume. So I'm just removing these characters so that your machine will not have this /x00/x0a/x0p. These are the bad characters which usually come into people's devices, and I'm just removing them. And voila. So I'm creating a particular payload or the shell code for this thing. Let us see that we can hack this machine or not. Very nice. So we are having a payload. If you can see this payload, can you see the name of the payload? The payload name is Lamao. So I just choose this payload to hack the machine, and we have the successful. So I did this payload, and I just put this payload on basically at the exploit code we people are having. So I just come over and before this junk, okay, so I'm in a big issue basically because there's an indentation error problem. So I have to indent every line according to this. This is a problem you will face in Python. Please be aware of this thing. If you just run the code like this, it will create an issue. So we hackers have creative also like this. So now you understand what kind of people we are. We are the people who like live with this screen with green and white fonts on. So this is the screen below, and we work on. If you want to like continue your career into cybersecurity, anyhow you have to like you have to get in love with the screen or change the screen again. So you have to do anyhow something like that.
So can't we use an ID for it?
Yeah, we can use that too, but it will still create some issue because when you change the text editor or something like that, okay. It will change the indentation part in most of in Kali Linux specifically. Right. So I got the particular payload over here, and this is the payload which I'm having, and I'm having the junk. So what I have to do is the first thing I have to enter is I have to enter some junk till EIP level, till the queen level. Once I get to the queen, I have to give the address to a queen. That address will be of something which we find out from the previous part, you can say, which you don't understand. I understand. So that address I have to put over here. So you have to put an address over here, and with the address part, next thing we have to put over here is a payload part. So once these all things are in set together, what will happen is first in a kernel stack, the first chunk will happen over here. The chunk will in filling inside a particular buffer part or the EBV part. With that, we have the address part. So we have to put an address in a kernel that what type of thing we have to execute. So with that, the next thing we have is we have the payload, so that can execute the thing which we want to execute. So these are the things which we want to like shuffle out each other when you want to do the buffer overflow part. So I can bet right now that 50% of the people doesn't get anything which I'm talking about. I know it's not alien technology part, but I want you people to know it's alien technology. Like this is just a small thing again. I'm not doing some big stuff. So just understand the logics of kernel assembly language, and you will learn this one out. It's very easy. So this is done, completely done. The next thing is I'm in the sixth wave. So this is the last 5 minutes of buffer overflow. If it will work, it's amazing thing. If it will not work, please don't blame me out of something because ASLR is on right now. So ASLR can stop us again. Windows is also having few securities, so they can stop us again. So what I'm doing is I'm running MSF console. MSF console is Metasploit table framework. Metasploit framework is basically used to hack Windows, Linux, Android, Mac, or you can say cameras, any service, any port number, or you can say IoT devices again, anything. For this part, this Metasploit, and they are giving us a hard perfect thing. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to use a particular exploit over here. So this exploit is something known as multi-handler. Multi-handler is the name given to this particular exploit module because at the same time it can have 49,000 machines basically. And this thing is written in Metasploit framework documentation. This multi-handler can hack 49,000 machines in a single go. So for this thing, it is known as multi-handler basically. So it's a nice name. The next thing we have is like we have to put some things over here. So we have to like set payload over here. First, the payload we used at the previous time was this. So I'm just copy pasting the thing again. Nothing like alien technology. I have to set lhost. This is the lhost. Lhost is my IP. And for thing just for a few seconds, and I have to set lport again. So understand what is happening over here. My bad. Perfect. So understand what is happening over here. I'm hacking that machine. What I'm doing is I'm sending a data to the kernel. Now, when I'm sending the data to the kernel, that machine will reverse back and connect with my machine right now. When it will come back to my machine, there is no one in my machine to open a gate. It's something like you are asking your friend to come to your house and you're not opening up a gate. Now what will happen? The police will beat him up because you have to be stay at home right now. You cannot roam around basically. So the same thing like that. When I talk about the exploit multi-hack part, what this is doing is it is opening a gate or a port number inside a machine so that the victim machine can reverse come back and connect with our machine. So this is something known as reverse shell. Reverse shell is you send a particular command to a victim machine and they came back and connect to our machine. So this is how exploitation happens majorly. So what I'm doing is, and remember socket, the socket I was talking about. This is socket. Socket means IP and a port number. Socket having is, so before the conclusion, the lesson or the last PJ of the day. I'm so sorry for this again. So just listen out very carefully. Why was the cell phone wearing glasses? Best answer will win a like from me. So why was the cell phone wearing glasses? Any answers, please? So what I'm doing is, my code is ready over here. My payload is ready over here. With my payload, my junk is perfectly set. I am having the address and Lamau. What is the mistake I have done over here, or the remaining thing which I have not put over here is the address, because I have to put the address over here, not the address written like this. So remember a keyword which we find out, little Indian heart, एक address निकाला था हम लोगों ने. So what I do is I choose this address, I copy them out, and after copying them out, perfect, I paste it over here. By pasting it over here, so that first the command will go to the address and then it will reverse back. Now what I'm doing is I'm just making it a variable initialization way so that it can connect these. Now what I'm having is, first I'm having a chunk till the queen EIP. After the EIP, at EIP level, what I'm sending a kind of address. After address, I'm sending a payload which will connect back to a machine. So this is the only thing which I'm sending over there. I'm saving this out and we are at the last stage. So let us try that whether it will work or not. If it will work, well and good. If it will not work, please don't be angry at me. So I just restart the complete application. Application is running. I just restart the debugger again. Why I'm running the debugger? To show you that how the data comes inside the debugger, how the data comes inside the kernel part. And the file attach, I'm having the application, FTP server, attach, view executable, FTP server attached, and what I do is I just click on play so that it can get played. You can see that it's running right now over here at this place. So what I'm doing is I'm again coming back to that machine. My MSF is working, my export is done, every single thing is done. So I just run this and enter. Okay, my bad. So it's asking for the IP address 192.168.195.159. Okay, again like this and click on exploit. So my payload has been sent it over there. Let us check what happened to that machine. Very nice. If you can see carefully in this machine right now, you will see that my status of the machine is paused. What do you mean by paused? Paused means it was running earlier. If you remember, it was running state earlier. So that means some data of mine from my backup machine has to the victim machine part. The next phase, it is showing something like add. What is this add? This add means that I have added some payload from my machine to that machine. I just have to check whether it's working or not. So if it's working, well and good. If it's not working, come on, man. It didn't work. After 1.5 didn't work. So look, koi nahi. It happens sometimes. There is something which is stopping me to do the attack right now. I guess it's Windows Defender right now, which is stopping me to do the attack. So I'll be having some, like you can say, connection from that machine, it will be showing me over here that metadata session opened or something like that. And at this place over here, it will show me some metadata part. And so that means I can connect to that machine. I can open the webcam of that machine. I can do this kind of stuff. So like I'll show you this later on, like any other time. But I'll show you how to bypass ASR. It's a big. So thank you so much for listening out for 1.5 hours. If you have any questions, please put them down and please like give a like to the video. And thank you so much for bearing me out. Please let me know for any questions. Like let me check for the questions too.
Well, that was an exceptional session, sir. I mean, it was intuitive, it was informative, and it was incredible.
And it was alien technology. I know. Thank you so much.
To be very honest, a little bit of it was overwhelming, but yeah, in the end we learned a lot, and I hope our viewers have learned a lot. And if you have any questions, please ask in the live chat sections. As I can see already, there are a few questions, and
yeah, sure.
So it's not a question, it's a statement and then a question. Mayank Prakash Singh is asking, main problem occurs in bad characters. This is a big issue. How to resolve it?
Bad characters, actually you have to manually find it out. Like what is bad character? Let me show you. So I guess my machine is visible right now. My screen is shared. So bad character is kind of a like. Let me show you in my Kali machine. So bad characters are perfect. Nano bad characters. Bad characters are something less. If you see this carefully, this is the complete pattern of hexadecimal. This is from /x00 from where hexadecimal begins. So hexadecimal is from 0 to F, you already know. So it goes from 00, if you can see, and hexadecimal is always in a pair of 2. So it goes from 00 till FF. FF, why? Because FF is the ending. So what we do is, we one by one send the bad character to a particular code of a particular kernel, and we find out that whether the bad character is being like excluding out or including out. If the bad character is including out in the kernel part, then we don't have any issue. But the kernel is excluding or stopping the program because of bad character, then we have to remove them out. So bad character is a kind of issue, you can say, but it's not a big issue again. The big issue is ASR, which was stopping me to do that again, and Windows Defender, obviously. Right. Any other question?
Alright, so the last question that I will ask is, it's from Chandar Dakshak. He's asking
Hmm.
how to know about padding or bad
Uh,
chemicals. I mean,
Padding is something. Yeah. So padding is something which basically comes, which is a kind of precaution technique, which basically come. Uh, this is something like I call them a gutter, basically. So this is something like whatever thing you send as a payload, it will goes inside the padding part, and it will not goes inside the kernel part. This application was not having padding actually. Why I'm telling this and how I know this, because I've done this application like before. So I've done this application like a long ago, and it was not having any padding. The padding applications are only from Microsoft, Mozilla Firefox, Rockstar Games, GT5, and PUBG.
hello.
PUBG was having padding. So these
हाँ
are the
sir.
applications who are having padding. Any other questions? So I'm seeing the chat right now.
पवन sir.
Let me know further questions.
हाँ हाँ
50
हाँ हाँ
people are watching this right now.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for your time. It was
Thank
really
you.
an amazing session.
Thank you so much, Dushan. And thanks for
And
inviting me
we
over
all,
here.
I'll share the link for sir's profile if you guys want to know more
So
about
if you want to
Overflow.
connect me out on any other platform or something like that, I'll share a very easy trick with you. I guess you already know this trick. So what you have to do this, what you have to do is you don't have to click on a link by the way, because you will be like, sir, you are hacking us or something. So you have to go to a website known as google.com. I guess you know this website, and you have to write something like this and something like this. So when you write it out, you will have some keywords. My internet is, and I'm the guy over here, and you connect it out, you can find me out easily. So just connect me on a social media platform. I'll help you out.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.